Hey guys, we're going to try this a little bit differently today. I'm holding my tripod, so that's why I'm trying to figure out the sweet spot. There we go. Trying to get the lights out of the background so it doesn't look so washed out. Anyway, we're out here at the Ranger today, and I'm going to try to as I get the lighting upgraded in here, that'll help reduce that glare considerably. I've got a stud that I need to pull out. Well, it's not supposed to be a stud, it's supposed to be a bolt out of the front yoke. So I've locked in my hubs so that doesn't turn, and we may play around with the pause feature on the video today. I don't know. All I brought with me was a pair of vice grips, the kind with the, not the curved jaw, but the, I don't know what they're called. Anyway, vice grips. So we're going to see if we can get that little guy out. I may need to go get different tools. So we're going to do that, and then whether we get that out or whether we don't, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it out with vice grips. I may need an actual like stud extractor or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to get you set up. I'm going to get my light set up. I'm going to crawl under there. Unfortunately, you're not really going to be able to see what I'm doing, but that's what I'm doing. So we'll take you over here. Okay, we're going to flip, get you set down here. And I think, I can turn the light on the camera. Does that help or does that hurt? I think it actually helps a little bit. So anyway, that's going to be your view. I'm going to crawl under and see what I can do with this thing. Get my shirt tucked in. Nobody wants to see that. So we'll crawl under. That's the only thing actually stopping this truck from currently being four-wheel drive. So let's see. Got this little bitty stud here. So the other U-joint cap is actually still on it. Okay, why are you turning? You shouldn't be turning. Why are you turning? Did I not get that other hub locked in? Okay. Well, let me go double check my hubs. See, now that's misleading because the arrow lines up with lock here, but then it says lock, turn that way. So I think I may have actually unlocked them. I need my light so I can see the other side. Come on. Okay, where does it say lock? Shine right in my face so I can't see anything. Okay, free, lock. Okay. Let's try this again. There we go. So evidently what I did was lock my hubs. That's not beneficial. Get that on there as tight as I can, and then prepare to punch stuff. Are you kidding me? Is it already turning, or is it just so stripped that it's just basically refusing to do anything? It feels like it's, yeah, it feels like it's turning. Okay. So keep that torque down good and tight. See if this thing will come out a half a thread at a time. I wonder if I can get it to. Okay, it's turning. Yeah, it's turning. Wee doggy. Oh boy. Those threads do not look happy. So I don't know. Oh man. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, we got the stud out. I think the way these are set up is I can bolt them from the back side if I have to. I want to see if I can use a like a U-bolt style U-joint retainer clip. Just because I feel like this is kind of like a plate with a little bit of a bend in it that holds everything together. Here, let me get you up off the ground here and turn that off. Flip the... Okay. Well, that actually came off really easy. We'll grab the vice grips and we're going to head on back into the barn here, or into the room here. Ooh, actually, you know what? I wonder if I can do this one-handed. Not that you're really going to be able to see a lot, but let me move this, pull the hood pins out of this thing. There we go. It's not too bad. Good view of my armpit. That's expert camera skills right there. All right, so we are going to pull the radiator cap off the Ranger. And other than the fact that the level is a little bit low, boy, I'm not used to swinging this camera by myself. Let me flip you around here, show you what's down in there. Other than the level being a little low, the stuff floating on top is the K-seal. That's the copper that's supposed to be there. That actually looks really good. I think we might have got her on the head gasket fix stuff, if there was even a problem, because after talking to a couple of other people, you know, not that I can't come up with this stuff on my own, but obviously, you know, I mean, you got a couple of brains working on something, and you're bound to come up with an idea sooner or later. But anyway, you know, he suggested that it might have been a head gasket failure in the past, and the previous person just never did anything with it. You guys see that back there? Told you I put something up. You like that? It's kind of backwards, but you get the idea. Um, so either A, there was a head gasket failure in the past, and that is really close to my face. And you know, I got fixed, and they just never readdressed the cooling system, or you know, any number of things. The degradation of the coolant, because like I said, it sat in there for a while, so I think it might have just been breaking down into its component parts, and that might have been the problem all along. So I am going to try to pause this video because I'm standing in here. I want to get you set up on the bench, and then we'll see if that works, because as near as I can tell, the only video editing I can do on my phone is like snipping a video. So I can take like a 2-minute long video and I can snip like 10 seconds out of it or 20 seconds out of it, but I don't think I can like mash videos together. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pause here, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's see if that worked. All right, well, we picked up at 11 minutes and 30 whatever seconds, so I think we're doing good. So this is what we just went and fished out of the yolk of the Ranger. It's just that little bitty guy there. I don't know if it's going to focus on that. It's not even maybe 3/4 of an inch long, half an inch long. What I want to figure out, and if anybody knows, feel free to drop it in the comments, or, you know, call me an idiot because I didn't emerge from the womb knowing these things. Like, you know, some lovely individuals tend to forget their learning years, and just, you know, if you don't know everything, then you're an idiot. Anyway, that's a whole other topic, and I should probably avoid it. Anyway, so if anybody knows anything, if you know, like, if you can drill that out, and you can, if you can drill that out, and you can just use like the more conventional U-joint style, like the flat, or not U-joint style, U-bolt style, with the flatted inside to retain the U-joint. If not, I guess there's not really a lot of extra meat to oversize these, but they're just so small. They're just so tiny. I mean, that's like maybe 1/4 inch. I think in metric land, that's like M8 or something like that, which is just tiny. But I mean, it's a Ranger. It's, you know, we're not talking about a 1 ton or 3/4 ton here. Anyway, today has absolutely kicked my butt. We hauled a load of scrap metal today. We weighed in at 2,000 pounds even, which that's not even a big one. We've weighed in a heck of a lot more than that. But yeah, so we spent some time getting the trailer loaded up. Used the Ram today, 2015 Ram 1500. We did off of a nearly fresh tank of diesel. We did. It was doing about 15.5 on the way down and on the way back. Normally the truck does closer to like 20, 22. We've got a road trip tomorrow to Brennan, Washington, to go pick up a welder. Looking at I believe it's a Lincoln 140. It's 110 volt. Set up for gas. I'll have to get some gas. It doesn't come with that, which is fine. I think it's got a spool of flux core in it as it sits. So yeah, that'll be pretty fun. We'll maybe stop and get coffee, or we'll pack a lunch, bring some PBJs, or something along that line. Uh, avoid them fast food restaurants. They ain't no good for me, and they ain't no good for the budget. But yeah, so we did that today. What else did we do? Didn't really do much. That took up a pretty good chunk of the day. Um, yeah, I don't really know that I've got much else to. I kind of figured this little stud here was going to give me a little bit more trouble. Uh, you know, Figured that'd give me an opportunity to talk about patience and how I don't have any. Um, but yeah, that just kind of slid right out of there. The guy that I got it from made it sound like it was stuck, and everything shy of nuclear fusion had been used to try to remove the thing, and it was going to need a new yoke. And I just kind of refused to believe that because let's see what we can do with some vice grips first before we start throwing nuclear power at it. Um, so yeah, the the radiator, the coolant looked good, and I ran that for a good probably 45 minutes or so. I mean, collectively doing the whole flush process, the getting everything out of it and then running the flush through it and then letting that cool down and then draining it and then rinsing the flush out of it, letting it run and cool down, then adding the coolant and the K-seal and the distilled water and the antifreeze and the K-seal. I mean, good Lord, that's a process. That's rather time consuming. Uh, but collectively that project probably took about 3 hours. So anyway, but I think we got her. And like I said, I'm not even entirely sure that it was a failed head gasket. It could have been that the head gasket had failed before. And the person did the repair, or the shop did the repair, and they just maybe they just did shoddy work and they didn't flush the cooling system to get the oil out of it. Or I'm honestly leaning toward that I think it was just the degradation of the coolant in the system, because I've probably said it 12,000 times now. I mean, that truck sat for at least 4 or 5 years. Like I said, I think it was closer to 7 or 8, because I mean she is pretty grimy. I've got a couple of pictures of what it looked like when I first got it home. It was on these goofy little tires, just little rollers. I found some 33s for it. That right there, I mean, mechanical issues aside, I mean, it is that made the truck feel a lot better about itself just right there. Not looking like she missed leg day. And then, yeah, when I first got it home, it was disgusting. It was green and gross, and there was junk in the bed. It had been used as a firewood truck, so it's not like it was a bunch of nasty garbage or anything. But the bark breaks down and composts, and there was a couple of tools back there that had been long since forgotten. I've still got to clean out the cab. It's still pretty grody, but I've got it cleaned out to where I can do what I need to do: get in, sit, and get the ignition. But it's got some junk in the passenger side that needs to get out. I know I keep referring to this as the Ranger. But my wife and I actually decided shortly after, because I only have one vehicle that actually doesn't have a name, and I don't really know why. I've got a 2016 F-150 that it just kind of got called the Ford. We kicked around some names, and I really wasn't feeling any of them, so it never really got a name. But our Subaru. We've got a 98 Subaru. You'll probably see that in some videos soon-ish. I've got some white line parts, rear suspension components for that to install, so you'll maybe see that. The Subaru's name is Stella, oddly enough, because when the guy, I traded a 90, I think it was a 95 4Runner for it, and which some of you may be thinking is a really bad trade, but it worked out. He got what he wanted, we got what we wanted. And more importantly, we didn't own a 3-liter anymore, a Toyota 3-liter. So when he kept, he was trying to sell the car, or promote the trade, so I'd want the car, which I pretty much already did, but he kept telling us what a stellar car it was. He must have said stellar 35 times during that. We dealt with each other for maybe an hour, and in that hour, man, he must have called that car stellar 35 times or more. It was hilarious. So we just felt that we had to name the car Stella. The Jeep 2000 TJ, his name is Bowser. I'm a 90s kid, so I kind of grew up. I got Mario in my blood. My Jeep is yellow. I know you've seen it in a few videos. I probably got a pretty good look at it today, actually, walking by. It was yellow. When I saw it on the trailer, I traded my 79 F-150 for it. I've told you about it in other videos. Precious, the one that had all the crazy lift on it, big tires and everything. And when I saw that thing pull into the yard on the trailer, the guy brought it up, and I was like, that's Bowser. It didn't have a name or anything at the time, not that he mentioned anyway, but I was just like, that is Bowser. So anyway, that brings me to the Ranger, the 1984 Ford Ranger XLT single cab short bed custom deluxe Lariat. Actually, custom deluxe, that's a Chevy thing. Anyway, all those fun things. It's probably a base package truck. I don't think it's even like I don't know how they trim out Rangers. I don't know. It's probably like a custom or something. Anyway, its name is Wicket. And I don't know any Star Wars fans out there. I am by no means the largest Star Wars fan. My wife way out nerds me on that. In fact, so much so that sometimes, we would be watching The Mandalorian or, one of Disney's new renditions of the Star Wars story, and she will sit there and pick it apart and tell you every little detail that's wrong because these people didn't have, had more than this, or had more children than this, or didn't have that many children, or this animal wouldn't be found on this planet, or she'll like way nerd out. But anyway, I cannot talk. Like I said, today it's been a long day. So we arrived at Wicket because we kicked a few names around. I don't remember what names. Just nothing I was really feeling. And I was laying in bed one night, and I rolled over and I told my wife, I think it was probably like 2 a.m. It was on a weekend. And I was like, I'm not going to bed before this truck has a name. This is going to absolutely drive me nuts. So we sat there, laid there, and I'm going over in my head. I'm going, okay, how can I name this thing? Because it's got a zombie apocalypse badge on the fuel door, and like it had a few things that I could play off of as far as coming up with a name. But I'm sitting there, I'm going, okay. Because at the time it was covered in algae, like it was gross. I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, it's brown and it's ugly. Now, I know a lot of you may be mad at me because I just called Wicket ugly. Ewoks are cute, but in a funky kind of way. They're adorable, but stay over there. So anyway, that's how we came to Wicket. and that's been it. Um, I was having second thoughts there for a little bit because I didn't know if I wanted to ride the whole Star Wars thing. Um, but yeah, it kind of stuck. I like it. We'll figure out because with my Jeep Bowser, I would really like to at some point find a green soft top for it. So the body of the Jeep's yellow and the soft top's green, or even a hard top. That'd be cool. But I don't feel like forking out $2,500 for a hard top. If you price those things, they are nuts. So anyway, we got a road trip tomorrow. We're gonna film a little bit of that. Give you a recap on mileage, all that stuff. I need to stop saying I need to come up with something to do instead of saying like take a drink of water or slam my hand in the door or something to remind me as I do it again. So trip tomorrow, scrap today. Yeah, the scrap metal day. The whole nature of that is I'm sure I'm sure anybody watching this channel probably knows how scrap metal works. But anyway, the idea is that you got different materials, ferrous, non-ferrous. So you got like steel cast, auto cast, which would be like rotors and drums. You've got aluminum, brass, copper, all that stuff. They all charge differently. Now the way I do scrap metal is generally just shredder. It's stuff like appliances, and every once in a while, like I'll have a set of brake drums or something like scattered in there. But I never have enough volume to where categorizing it out separately and getting a different price point for it is really cost effective, because I don't want to keep that volume around on my property until I have 50 or 60 brake drums and rotors, which would pay out better. But I have 4 vehicles. That would take me years to accumulate. So anyway, essentially you bring in what you bring in, and they weigh you in, and then you go unload, or depending on what it is, they unload you. Sometimes you got to sign a little piece of paper. But anyway, so you unload all your stuff, and then as you leave, they weigh you again to figure out how much material you dropped off. So we did that today in an effort to, I had a considerable amount sitting around out back, because I do, little projects, whatever. I end up with pieces, or wheels seem to find me. And don't worry, I'm not throwing away anything good. They're just junky old wheels. Nothing really usable. So anyway, that's part of the funding and budget for this. That's, man, I am riding that train tonight. Man, that's bad. So that's part of the funding for the channel. Oh, wow. Knock it off. And that's what's gonna, not exclusively scrap metal, but that's definitely what's gonna help keep it coming, help keep parts coming, help me keep making more videos. And I think that's about all I've got for today, guys. Thanks for hanging out. If you like the content, like, subscribe, comment. If you subscribe, hit the little bell so you get the notification. I think that must be my symbol for bell. Flick the bell. So you get the notification when I post. And again, don't, word of mouth. That's, let's not sell that short. Feel free to, share it on Facebook, share it on whatever social media platforms. that you fancy, and let's get this thing out there, because once this Ranger starts rolling, you know, once we get a running, driving, moving project, I think it's going to get a lot more interesting. I'm still like I'm at this stage right now. I'm at let's unmess up some things, and so we're able to move forward. Because I would hate to, you know, have a video where it's like, hey, we're going to install a new front drive shaft, and then, you know, run into something like this. So I'm picking it over with a fine tooth comb, and unfortunately, I'm doing a lot of this camera work by myself and not having a lift, being on the ground underneath it. It's really, it's not practical to bring a camera with me. So, you know, it doesn't make for terribly interesting videos. But, you know, once we start getting some projects going, we, you know, upgrade the brakes or something, rebuild the hubs. You know, I'm thinking about maybe putting a mini spool in the rear, stuff like that. That I can film. So, anyway, like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell. See ya.